Welcome, ladies. It's so good to see you guys again together. The January cohort is back together, even though you guys have been together, I think, since leaving here the end of February. So thank you for coming and giving some post. We welcome post commentary and talk about just kind of the before and after, because that's what we do a little bit of talking about. And then we'll be talking a little bit about the after yappas, so the post yappas that really lead into the Repioneering Church and the No Wasted Time Network and the commerce metrics.
Navy SEALs.
That part.
Navy SEALs.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Share what that means. It's probably not a lie, but that may have come up in one of the videos, and people may not make the correlation and understand that out of context. Explain where did that come from?
I was sharing my process with my dear friend Josh, and where we were at that point. I think I had been there for about 10 days, and he said, "Damn, what you doing? We wouldn't get to that for another 2-3 years. This is the Navy SEALs of self-improvement." I wouldn't have been able to hold up with all of that.
And that was right about the time when I was like, I don't know if I want to still do this. I got to go. I'm going to Monta. Forget this.
I don't even know where I'm going in Monta, but I'm leaving here.
Enough.
So this was the Navy SEALs of self-improvement, of therapy. I mean,
you make it, you know what that feels like, and when you can identify with that because you've had those experiences, you recognize it. And this is about letting go of that boulder, because all of the strength in your life, the energy in your life of dragging that stuff, bags of it around, I done told you about them bags, dragging around. If you were to let it go, put it in the river, let it flow, let it go on to its next. Let that energy move into other ways. It comes back into our lives in those ways that are much more loving. And so we replace those holes with that. So I think that really what you were talking about captures the essence of what this work has been to me. Let's listen to this short clip right here, this piece. This is the cusp of the paradigm shift that's going to be drastic. Revolution is not a simple ease into it. It's a drastic shock, like an earthquake. And what you used to know ain't true no more. Asheville was where my daughter's wedding was a little over a year ago. The entire paradigm, crisis shifts the paradigm. The folk been talking about having your bug out bag. Folk been talking about learning some skills. Folk been talking about networking and relationships and do. It's going to be relevant now. You think it's going to be relevant to people? You should learn how to purify some water. It's going to be relevant. And so part of this is about our times are changing and people want to live differently. I think you guys echoed some of that. Not being able to go back and unlearn. Tell me about that, because sometimes you do the little activities and then you're going back to your regular life. Tell me how that has interplayed with you guys in this time, since there's been some time. How long have you guys been gone now? This is April, let's see.
2 months.
Almost 2 months. It's supposed to be 2 months. You guys got here mid-January, 20th of January, I think. So it's now April, first week. We're going into the second week of
April 9,
So you come for a month, you've been gone for a month. Some of those nice little things you just go do, and then you just go back to your life. Like you take a respite, and then you just unpause and go back to your life. Tell me about how that has that been possible for you guys?
It's impossible. It's been impossible.
There's no unpause.
No.
I mean, all the other stuff that we always did to survive or live or whatever, that was always on call. I mean, that was a constant. And what the program has done is give other things to incorporate into that constant that don't make that constant be what it was, I guess. It doesn't have the same relevance, how I think about things, how I come to some resolve. How about that? I come to some resolve. Whoa, what a concept in and of itself. Because fluff doesn't really allow for resolve. We just keep the story going.
Yeah.
And like you said, we keep that story going. Well, one story that I told during the program stayed with me up until I told it at your house. In that same context, which is like as a 2-year-old's thoughts. Okay? But that kept perpetuating itself forever.
Yeah.
Okay. Until I learned how to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, once you untangle it, who's gonna go back to a tangled web once it's been untangled?
I love these things.
You just can't. You can't. And I think the added value for us, I'm going to speak for both of us, is that we're still together, and that accountability and that reminder. Okay, that sounds like some figs right about now.
Over there.
As we're talking to our other sisters here in Manta, life is doing them as well, right? And we'll share stories over breaking bread, and we're like, wait a minute, but that's not really what happened. Let's get to the facts. And so you find yourself using the tools regularly,
even when you didn't
with
want
one
to.
another, and before you realize it, with everybody else. But wait a minute, hold up, that's not a fact. That ain't really what happened.
Yeah, it makes me be quiet a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because you see somebody else's mix, and it ain't my space to start talking about you.
I mean, we ain't healing. We ain't trying to heal nobody. We still working on what it is that we learned. But again, the extra added cherry on top is that we're still together in this co-living situation, and accountable to one another. And in agreement that nobody else is coming into our co-living mix until they've done some healing that looks like what we've been through, because it's the foundation for success. Otherwise, you just got people that don't know nothing about, how to have conversations about difficult situations or whatever. They just don't know how to do it in love. And so, people walking around resentful or slamming doors or staying in their room. And who wants to live like that? That doesn't sound like peace, ease, or harmony to me. So we're in agreement. It'll just be the two of us until the right person comes along.
That's good.
We good. Yeah.
And
you can't unknow it. That's the bottom line. You cannot unknow it.
Pause. Wendy, move over. I don't know, because I think you might be cut off. Come, like the side of your face be cut off.
Come close to me.
A little bit. Yeah, stay in that frame so that you don't get cut off. I don't know how long you've been. It's just part of you. I thought it was my screen because I had it moved over, but I think it was part of your face.
Is that better?
Yeah. Okay. So then let's listen to this little piece of this one.
This is like reality TV for real.
yeah,
Feel like it. Ain't nobody gonna fight though. Ain't nobody gonna fight. I ain't got the energy.
Nah, we don't do that.
Okay, let's see. Into a paradigm that says, I'm gonna live honest. What you see is what you get. Day, night, inside, outside. It is what it is. But that honesty becomes better and better, because what you begin to see is truth, because these layers start coming off.
Mm-hmm.
Layers that really are me covering up my insecurities or fears, because I'm afraid for you to know them. I'm afraid that you will determine that my worthiness is not the way I want you to see it. And I said, if older women heal, it gives us back the elders of our community. Which elders? First, the women elders. So one of the things I brought that clip in was I talk a lot about living it. I talk a lot about the era that I grew up in, Les Brown. Fake it till you make it. I remember when that came out.
Absolutely.
And it sounded right until I started doing the work. Until I started understanding what trauma was, and I said, but I'm lying. If I'm pretending to be this thing out there and it's not who I really am, I'm lying. And if I'm lying, every time I say that, I'm traumatizing myself. The faking it got to get stronger if I'm gonna make momentum, make progress. And you all have the opportunity to come and experience that in place. From a vantage point now of post, what does that mean to you? And does it mean anything different to you now than it did on the front side of your experience?
Absolutely. You got to be able to incorporate these tools into your everyday living. So there's no more faking it, period, for me. And that's my personal relationships, my business relationships. I'm not faking it. I'm coming from a place of authenticity and truth. Whether or not I speak it afraid, I'm going to speak it. And somebody accused me the other day, said, okay, so you didn't change your mind. You've reevaluated this situation. You're using all these fancy words that you now got, this language. But the bottom line is, yes, I've looked at it in a different way. I've addressed the facts of the situation. And so when I can remove my ego from it and address the facts, you come to a different conclusion. You have to come to a different conclusion. So it's every day walking the walk and talking the talk. You can't fake it. You really can't. You have to be so intentional in faking it once you've done this program that you gotta almost forget everything that you learned. You got to put on a whole nother mask in order to fake this journey from that 30-day point. And who wants to do that? I'm not looking back.
I can't do it.
I don't want to do it.
I mean, I can't.
It was hard enough when we were doing it.
Yeah,
and now that it's been lifted, it's like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that.
It's more painful to think in ways up to January 20th than February 21st. Okay.
Real talk.
It's really hard to go back to that whole train of thought. I didn't realize how much it didn't fit. It just didn't fit, but I'm gonna push this in here because, this is where they say it's supposed to go. And this is how you do it. Well, no, there's another way to do it.
Yeah.
And I found that, like you said before, with other modalities, it's behavior modification. It's a dangle. But I'm the only thing that's being dangled here. This is your sanity. How you like it like this?
Yeah.
How you want it?
Yeah.
You want to be in that little piecey thing, or you want a whole piece of sanity? Where are you?
Yeah.
So it has helped clarify where I am with myself.
Yeah.
That's a great segue because I talk about freedom a lot. The website for the International Welcome Center is globalundergroundrailroad.com, and that's on purpose. To talk about this being part of helping us get to freedom. And so this clip kind of brushes on that and the realness of living it. Let's take a look. And so part of this is about saying, if we're going to fix it and truly move into a place where life is free, mentally, you're free to do life in the way that you want, in the way that you choose to be. Getting free is the first step. And that's what this is about. That if we do healing first, everything else is easier because now we can work together.
Yeah.
I've learned how to recognize where my ego is showing up in my life and potentially causing me trauma and others. I have the tools to deal with it when it comes up. You notice that don't offer commitment. You got to come with that. Right. Healing and transformation has to be your non-negotiable in life, because when it's not your non-negotiable, when healing gets hard, you stop doing it.
That's right.
I don't wave peace. I don't wave threats to people, because that would be the old paradigm.
Yes.
You got to want to come. You got to want healing. You got to want freedom. And so part of the So I talk about that a lot. But that's Lorana's perspective. That's what healing has been for me. I happen to think it's replicatable. My life different than yours. My trauma profile different than yours. But I believe that this gives tools that mold to each individual lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that this is part of how we get to freedom. Mm-hmm. You heard me talk it. You hearing that again from this vantage point of post stay, how does that identify with something in your life? You know, can you testify to that? What's your testimony around that? Is that something that you too can see or experienced in this transformation process?
Let the church say amen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, yes, I'm definitely a living testament that it works. I felt free before. Because like I said, you know, I've been doing some work, right? I've been working on me. But the level of freedom that I feel after the program, different, completely different. So yeah, I will testify to that as being true.
I don't make up stories as easily.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If I didn't have the facts before, I would make up the facts and put it in there, and then I have the story. But either I'm gonna have a situation without all the facts, mm-hmm. or I'm gonna ask what are the facts. You know, I'm gonna ask questions.
Right.
Whereas before January 20th, that wasn't. Oh, if I felt somebody wasn't telling the truth, or if I wasn't telling the truth, then it's okay. Mm-hmm. No, we all lie.
Because that's a protective thing, right? That's a defense mechanism, right? The stories that we tell ourselves or the lies that we allow to exist, right? That's defense. That's the old way of thinking. And no, I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing that in my life.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Don't think that all of a sudden I just pulled this pall off my head and now I'm not doing things. No. I'm still the same chick.
Yeah.
I still have the same propensities to think that way, but I know I have a tool to stop me. That's what's very different now. I'm not free and at large to just go on with those stories without questioning them.
Yeah.
In ways that make sense. It's not like I haven't questioned some thoughts before, but they're in line with the BS that went along to making up the story in the first place. Mm-hmm. So how can you get resolved or disseminate those narratives without knowing how to get to the facts of them? So now I got that tool.
We got the tool.
And that's the most valuable. That session of the 5-part sessions. But what's the truth?
What is the truth?
What are the true statements? Has been most impactful because I what was the thing I said? I tell reconstructive stories.
Yeah.
Tell lies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just a lie. That's a lie. That didn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did in my head, but you know.
And for me, it was most challenging when you said, "What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?"
Mm.
And when you really stop and think about those moments of trauma,
what'd you do?
And what did you physically do or actually say? And you see that pattern repeated year after year after
moment
decade
after moment after
for
moment.
decades. And you finally realize that it's like a mind-blowing moment. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my God, this is really how I react all the time. And I'm continually re-traumatizing myself. So, yeah, that was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Transformative.
And I again I have to temper myself because I want to share everywhere I go.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, what you saying right now? That ain't right.
Right.
You know, I want to share because it is valuable.
But our closest sister friends, they know when we say, oh, what figure you working out of? They understand what we're saying now because we challenge them. Okay, what figure you working out of? Yeah.
Because that don't feel good to you, right? When it don't feel good, you working out of some trash. You in the garbage can right now.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys came for a month. Let's just go on and answer the question. Aren't y'all healed now?